We had such a great time this morning. It was really awesome. And I was so grateful for everyone who was able to make it. And I'm so grateful for all of you who are just pausing tonight just to be able to join me as I really just honestly just share my heart about some things that are just, I think that can be very helpful and just, I don't know, um, part of like just sharing part of me of who I am with you. So, was there anyone here from this morning? Is anyone back? I see Rachel. She's back. Awesome. Yeah. So, if you don't mind muting, there will be time where I will ask some questions and I want feedback and things from you. Because I love that part. I love being able to interact and be very relational. And if you've ever done anything with me before on this, you'll know that I will ask questions. Obviously, you have the freedom to say no. Don't have to interact with me. Um, and I'm Brooke, by the way. I don't know if you all know me, but I started Path to Wholeness in 2016. I don't know if you'd believe that or not, but it's wild. That's, I guess, it's 10 years now. And it's been quite the journey, and I'm loving every minute of it. So, one of the things that I like to do is my baseline framework. I operate from a place of wholeness, that you are made whole, you're not lacking anything, and that you're a good gift. You know, I think that the Bible was pretty clear about it. And if, with this, if Jesus is the same today, yesterday, and tomorrow. I'm not really good about quoting scripture, sorry, but I do know that's in there somewhere. So, but if he's the same and he doesn't change, and he said we were very good, I don't think that changed either. So I just like to operate from that place. And can you guys all hear me okay? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Great. Awesome. Well, let's just get started. Like I said, I'm just so glad you're here. I may pause just to let people in as they're still trying to, you know, make their way here. And honestly, from that point right here, let's just take a moment to breathe. It's one of my favorite things to do is just pause, because we don't need to have it all together. We don't need to be perfect, nothing like that. We just get to be here, present. And tonight really is about giving your body a place to settle, to pause, just to be, and giving your mind space to remember what is already true. You're not broken. You're not behind. Mm. You're human. We're all human. And I welcome you here. Yeah. This will be recorded. So, or it is being recorded. So you will get to watch it again. And if you desire. But I have a question, just by a show of hands, or if you like to use the little reactions and stuff. Do you ever feel like that you should be more grounded than you are? Yeah, I'm gonna put both mine up sometimes because that's how I feel, right? And the thing is about that is we believe the truth in our head, right? A lot of us will believe the truth in our head, but our body is still carrying tension or fear and old stories. Most people feel this way because their body has literally learned a version of life that was built around survival. Yeah. So your body learned to watch for danger. Your body learned to stay alert. Your body learned to protect you at all cost. And I'm gonna pause right there because your body also brought you to this point in your life today. And that's worth celebrating. All the things it's carried, it's been through with you, everything. Some of you have probably have experienced just a lot, whether it's been sickness or just pain, I mean, we all have some sort of degree of something. And let's just celebrate that our body has brought us to where we're at today. And thank you, body, for that. So when when our life is actually no longer dangerous, okay, your body hasn't always caught up to that. Because so maybe growing up, you had to survive just to get through the day to day. Maybe in high school, there were things that were going on that it's just like, I just have to survive. Maybe college, maybe your 20s, 30s, maybe right now. You feel like you just need to do what you got to do just to get through the day. And as a result, you keep bracing yourself, you keep checking yourself, you keep feeling like something is wrong inside of you, like you have to fix something. But honestly, that feeling isn't failure, it's just information. And if you've been around me long enough, you're going to hear me say over and over that things aren't either good or bad, emotions aren't good or bad. What you're experiencing, it's just information. So it's not like your body's failing you. It's just information, and your body is doing the only job it learned. Sorry about that. Got a tickle. So your body is doing the job that it learned, and it's to protect you. Anchoring itself, it's the webinar is called "Are You Anchored?" And really, anchoring isn't about calming down. I'm sorry to anyone who's been told you just need to calm down. And I mean that seriously. I know like Taylor Swift has a song, but it's more about when we're feeling things and we just get told you should just calm down. Mm, I don't always agree with that necessarily. It's not about forcing yourself to be peaceful. Anchoring is a return. It's a return to identity. It's a return to truth. A return to you, the you, who you are, that existed before life asked too much of you. It's that part of us that there's a deep mm, stake in the ground of who we are, that we can return back to that because we know that we know that we know who we are. So anchoring is being able to return back to that. But the issue that can be sometimes is that we don't know who we are. Right? So we don't know how to return back to something. So The thing is your mind holds truth, your spirit holds truth, but your body holds a lot of stories. Who can relate to that? I can. Yeah, for sure. And those stories pull you into patterns that feel automatic. And that's why your head can know that God is good and your body still act like, what are you talking about? I don't know what that means. And you can feel like you're alone. It's why people can feel safe one day and completely overwhelmed the next. It's why you can love truth and still struggle to live inside of it. Anchoring teaches your body a new story by connecting it back to who you are. Connection is what steadies you. Connection brings the truth from your head to your heart and then into your body. How's everyone doing? Are you connecting to this? Is it making sense? Okay. So we're going to just take a few minutes. And I don't know if anyone has heard of the word somatic. So we're going to do just a little somatic practice that I like to do. And really, somatic means the best way I could describe it without getting all clinical and everything is listening to your body. That might be the best way to explain it. So, or connecting to your body, maybe. So, we're going to slow down just for a moment. And I want you to place your feet flat on the floor if possible. And I want you to let your shoulders drop. For those who understand, like, I'm going to take that a step further. Notice if you're firing your traps versus your deltoids. Some people might be able to relate to that, some may not. That's fine. Trying to get everyone here. If you feel your shoulders up, let them down. Let the shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. Even if that means your mouth opens a little bit, doesn't matter. No one's watching you. Okay. Now take a slow breath in and then let it all go. I want you to push, just let all the air out, all the way. And then do that again. And just notice what your body's doing. You don't need to change it. You don't need to do anything. Just notice. If there's a place that feels tight or tired or even loud, just acknowledge it. Ask yourself, if nothing is wrong with me in this moment, what might this sensation be trying to tell me? You don't need to answer it for your body. Just let your body know you're listening. It's talking. It has something to say. This is anchoring, being here, returning to yourself. There's something important that I learned a while back. It's, when your body's been in charge for a long time, letting your mind return to its place of leadership will feel uncomfortable. And not because it's wrong, but because it's unfamiliar. How many of you, and you can raise your hand or not, have made a decision to say get up earlier? And then the next morning, we'll just say 6 a.m. Made the decision to start getting up at 6 a.m. because I just want to do different. I want to, all the things, right? We'll just say watch the sunrise. I want to watch the sunrise. 6 a.m. comes around. Your mind chose something really good, and your intention was pretty clear, and your spirit wants it. But when that alarm goes off, your body says no. I don't think so. Your body says, we're warm here. We're tired. We do not want to move. Uh huh. And discomfort shows up. Most people let the discomfort make the decision. The biggest obstacle to when our body has been the boss for a long time, to removing that from its position, I guess would be the word. The biggest obstacle is discomfort. I've made a decision. This is what I'm going to do. But then your body's like, no, 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 no. I don't want to. But we don't sit and think about it like our body talking to us, right? I mean, does anyone sit and think, oh, like my body's telling me it doesn't want to get out of bed? Or is it just like, no, I don't want to get out of bed? I don't want to do this. But really, our body isn't meant to be the decision maker. Our body is meant to lead and supported, held by the truth that your mind and your spirit already know. So discomfort isn't a stop sign. It's the moment when old patterns try to keep their position. And it's the moment when you get to gently lead yourself back to who you really are. Anchoring is choosing to return even when it feels uncomfortable. How y'all doing? Yeah, good. So, here's this thing. I've got the stake in the ground. I know who I am and I understand who I am and I'm here. And then something happens. I'm like, oh, okay, well. And then another situation happens and I don't feel like it's that big of a deal. But then these little things start happening. And now I'm over here somewhere and I feel alone, maybe even afraid. I'm hiding now. I don't want anyone to know what's going on or anything. That's not who you actually are at all. Now you're over here away from who you are here. I talk with my hands, sorry. I hope this is registering with people. But anchoring is coming back to who you are. And sometimes we notice it, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we need people to say, hey, you're not really acting like yourself right now. Yes, I am. Oh, no, you're not. I've had people tell me, you're not really acting like yourself, but it feels like myself. And if you really want to know if you are acting like yourself or not, your people around you in your world, in your sphere are going to tell you. because they know. Trust those people. They love you. So you can only stay anchored when you know who you are. I feel like I keep repeating this, but it's so good, honestly. Like anchoring is returning, and you can't anchor to a place you don't recognize. And most people get unanchored because they never learn their true identity. They've built their identity around survival, around expectations, around pressure, performance. Yeah. But underneath those layers, there is truth, a whole truth, a grounded truth that when you live from that truth, everything shifts. Your reactions soften, your body settles, your mind becomes clear, and you stop treating yourself like a project that needs to be fixed. How y'all doing? Good. Okay. So, when we know who we are, then we know when we're not being who we are. I know that sounds kind of like funny, but if I know where I end and begin, and I know where you end and you begin, I know who I am. And when that gets muddled, when I lose myself into somebody else, I feel like I like all the things. I was like, well, I didn't used to like those stuff, but do I like this stuff? I used to. I think I've eaten green beans my whole life because I like them. No, I think I've eaten green beans my whole life because my mom said I had to eat green beans. I didn't like them. No, me anchoring back to myself is saying, I don't like green beans and I don't want those. I know it's just green beans, but are people connecting to that? Some ways to know that you're not anchored. I feel like it's obvious. I do. There's fear. There's so much fear. And the thing is, it's like fear isn't bad. Here we are, right? Or it's not good or bad. Fear isn't negative. It's not positive. It's not bad. It's not good. Fear has a role. Fear has a role in life. And honestly, the thing I'm just going to use fear for this, but fear will protect us. When a bear is chasing you in the woods, you better be afraid. But a lot of us live in a society or as people in the society that a bear's chasing us every day. Okay. And the thing is like, those are two different scenarios, right? Because your instinct is to run or all these trauma responses that people want to call trauma responses, but they're actually just responses to fear in different ways that we can just respond to it that protect us in different ways. But when we're living like that daily, our body becomes overwhelmed. Our body becomes overworked. Our body carries more than it really is had intended to be carrying. When we don't stop and pause throughout the day, we can't anchor back to ourselves because we're just moving, we're just going. Okay. And when we're not pausing long enough to check in with ourselves to see what's going on, we're not going to know if we're even really how we're really doing, honestly. How many of you, and you can just answer in your heart. I don't care how you answer, honestly. You can, I just want to like bring it back to you personally. How many of you intentionally throughout the day pause and check in on yourself? It's great. How many of you in the day intentionally call your friend and check on them, see how they're doing? More than yourself? Yeah. You know, even if you call your friend a couple times in the week, did you check on yourself at all during that week? You know? But the thing is like fear in itself, or intimidation even, has one job, and it's to stop us. So when we're operating out of fear, we're not operating out of our anchored self that feels protected, that feels safe, that feels, I don't want to just say relaxed in a sense of like, oh, I'm just like ooey gooey relaxed, but not hyper vigilant. Don't feel like we're in danger. There's a part of you already right now that can relate to what I'm saying on both sides. The part that understands what it means to be anchored, the peace, like I know that I know that I know who I am. And then the part that could be very loud to you, could actually wake you up at night loud, could actually be yelling at you so loud sometimes. Can you just listen to me? I need you to pay attention to this part of yourself. Anyone relate to this? Well, I want to let you know right now there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not going crazy. You don't need to be fixed. There's just a part of you that needs attention and has a need that hasn't been met, that is speaking up. But somewhere along the line, we were told not to listen to ourselves, or we don't realize that's ourself talking to ourselves because it sounds funny. But honestly, like when we pause long enough, we can tell a lot what's going on with this. You felt it when we started. You could feel it in your body. You could feel where there's tension. You could feel where there's pain if you take a moment to notice. How are we doing? I know I check in a lot. I just want to make sure I'm moving at the pace with you. Don't want to overwhelm anyone because this can be overwhelming, especially if this is the first time you're ever hearing anything like this, or if maybe you don't know what it's like to live from a place of peace at all. It's like, well, what is that? That's not even possible. It is possible. It'll take some intentionality, some rewiring, just different things, but it is possible. Um, does anyone need any more examples of what it's, how about we do, okay, how about this? Does anyone need any more examples of what it looks like to not be anchored? Okay, I see you, Cheryl. Does anyone have a response for themselves, or where they know when they're not anchored, that they would like to share with Cheryl and the rest of the class, the rest of us. I want to give you an opportunity here. And just start, yeah, unmute yourself and
Oh,
go, Jill.
oh, good. Hello, I'm Madeline. I'm Jill's
Hi,
friend.
Matt.
Um, I mean, the first thing that came to my mind was if I feel like I'm rushing. That for
Mhm.
me, the moment that I'm rushing is the moment that I'm in fight or flight and I'm not aware of anything anymore.
That's
Um,
good.
yeah.
It's good. Like the sense of urgency, like you wake up and you're already behind.
Yeah, or just, it's like I'm getting out the door and like I might not even be going to an appointment. Nobody cares when I'm going to be there, but all of a sudden I'm yelling at my kids because
Mm,
we're late for something. Oh, wait, no, we're not. Yeah. Or it doesn't
yeah,
really
it's
matter.
good. No, it's good. Okay. Thanks,
Yeah.
Madeline, for sharing. Donna, I see that when you're worried. Nikki, you said you get flustered, easily aggravated. Yes. So go ahead, Rachel. Were you raising your hand? Go for it. You're muted. You may or may not have known that. Sorry. I'm just okay. Here, I'm gonna ask you.
Okay,
Oh, there it is.
all right, push the right button.
This is Mr. Rachel, Charlie.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Rachel. Hi, Charlie.
Uh, Ever since I was a kid, when I felt unanchored, because I came from kind of a crazy family,
Hmm.
would feel the urge to soothe it through food,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably fairly common.
Hmm.
And I can still feel it, even though a lot of that's gone, when I start feeling like, you know, I need whatever, usually it's ice cream, but I feel like this uncontrolled urge, I've got to soothe myself
Mm,
um, because I'm feeling uneasy. And it can be about anything. It could be, financial, something going on with their kids or grandkids. I just lost this step brother that died of
mm.
cancer.
I'm sorry.
Just those things that happen where you kind of feel like I wish life would just be smooth all the time.
Hmm.
But if I start feeling that urge, like I'm turning away from my true identity to try to cope with something, you know,
Hmm.
then that's probably the biggest thing that I know right away.
Hmm.
It's not usually something super traumatic. It's just looking quickly for something for relief, like you said, instead of, you know, being anchored.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I appreciate that. Eh, yeah, go ahead, Simon. I see you.
I have a question.
Hmm.
Um, what I'm an oddball, as you know. We're getting to know each other. Um,
I love it.
what can you speak to when pressure situations happen and
Hmm.
you feel like you're in your element, and then when it subsides, then you feel a bit at sea. Um, whether it be traumatic circumstances or a high pressure job.
Hmm.
And then the downtime is sometimes harder to deal with.
Hmm. Yes, I can speak to that. So, what I believe happens. So, just a little bit of background of me. I'm a crisis counselor. I'm an addictions and recovery counselor. I've been in the trauma field for over 20 years. Okay. I would midnight show up on college campuses to crisis oriented situations consistently. That just kind of gives you a sneak peek, right? So what you're talking about, Simon, is actually being, some people would look at that like, oh, look how I can handle these just tough situations, and I'm thriving in this chaos. I'm meant to thrive in chaos. No, that's why when it is down and it is peaceful, it's difficult
Mm.
because maybe all you've ever known is chaos and it's familiar. And you already know what to do because you've been doing it your whole life.
Mhm.
It's like, I already know I got this. I know what
Mm.
this looks like when this happens. I know what this looks like when people act like this. I know how to handle all of this. But then when you're alone by yourself and you don't have all of that environmental stuff going on, who are you then?
Mm. Mm.
And if there's not peace then, honestly, it's because we haven't practiced enough of what it means to pause. I call it practice the pause, but to be still. One of the things I have my clients do is silence and stillness 3 times a day. And when they're starting it, it's difficult. I'm like, just try doing it once a day and aim towards getting to a place in life that you're doing it 3 times a day. The first time, it never fails. The first time I have people, I'm like, I'm gonna do this with you. Let's get the phone out. 2 minutes. Start the timer. All I want you to do is to pay attention to your breathing, nothing else. Time and time again. I mean, there's those nuances. I'm not gonna lie, it's not like every time, right? But there are very less than there are more. The more that I have people do this, what I see very often is those 2 minutes feel like eternity. They feel like they're taking, I mean, they'll look at their phone and it's only been 30 seconds. We don't know how to just be.
Mm.
The Bible talks about Sabbath, right? And it's like supposed to be this one day a week. I don't know that I believe it's supposed to be one day a week. I believe the Sabbath is something we operate from because when we know who we are, we're operating from a place of rest. And that's what Sabbath is, rest. I will say, when you're actually taking a Sabbath and however you want to, like a 24-hour Sabbath, when you're disconnecting in different ways, there is a rhythm that happens with that. You see it in the week, but you can scale that back even so in your day, in your day to day and how you are. But in the week, if you haven't practiced it or if you haven't even like tried it, I would encourage you to pick one of the days out of the week and be like, this day, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to even turn off my phones. It's hard. It's hard because we tend to believe that the world would not go on without us. We
Would
do.
you say that? Would you say that you might respond with overactivity? That might be the example of not being anchored. Is that?
Yeah, it could be overactivity. It could be busyness. Yeah,
Mm.
you know, because the thing is like when there is this rhythm that happens, if you do try to do a Sabbath like one day, we'll just say for Saturday, just to for conversation here. I choose that I'm going to do a Sabbath on Saturday, and as I go through my week, I can feel things ramping up. That's how it used to be for me. I could feel it ramping up to Friday and it like peaks up on Friday and everything. And then Sabbath is the next day and it's just like, boom, because I don't do anything. Now, there's this idea, this glorious idea that Sabbath is you don't do anything. You lay around all day, you eat all the food that you like, you just, all the things, right? No, my dear friends, that is not what happens on Sabbath. What happens on Sabbath, if you haven't done this during the week already, I'm not saying it happens to everyone, again, nuance, is that everything you decided to push down and hide and not address during the week because you have paused long enough on your Sabbath Saturday comes up. And it might feel like the worst day ever to you, in all honesty. So instead of that happening, yeah, you give yourself respite every single day. You practice the pause. You be intentional. I have learned for myself that what I need, if I don't get half a day, like half a day from like noon to the rest of the day, kind of a thing, out of a week, that's what I need for myself is half a day. If I don't get that, I get snippy. I get snippy. I I get isolated and I go into like a shell like a turtle and I get quiet. I remember there was a season in our life where we were going some things at a church that we were at, and it had gotten to this point I just stopped talking. And my husband knew something was not okay. He's like, "You don't just not talk." And he's like, I just stopped. I was not okay. And I knew that. And he knew that. But the thing is like, once you start to understand yourself, learn who you are, the part of you that is light, and I don't mean like the bright, which it can be, but like that's not burdensome. The part of you that is full of joy, the part of you that, man, oh no, that's just easy. Yeah, oh, yeah, I can, you know what? That's not a thing for me. That's just so easy. And doesn't everyone do that? No, no, not everyone does that. That's because that's who you are. That's why it feels so familiar and so easy and so light that you don't even think twice about it and that you think everybody else does the same thing. Those things inside of you are the things that point to who you are. And when we're not having that happen for us because we're not anchored, right? And so we're over here, say our North Star is off, and we're off over here a little bit. It's not that it's wrong, but living whole is like, hey, I'm over here. What's going on? I have to pause for a moment and find out what's going on inside of me, give myself the care that I deserve, check in with myself. What is it that I need to support? What need needs to be met? What do I actually need to tell myself? Do I need a nap? Do I need food? What's going on here? And, and check in with yourself to bring yourself back to who you are. Now, this is also different than being triggered. That's different. But a lot of times people don't even know when they're triggered. But living in a state of triggering is also not being anchored. You guys following?
Could some
Anyone?
physical tics be, and when everything's a bit quieter, constant foot tapping and playing with a pan and grinding your teeth? Should I be paying attention to those sorts of things as an indicator of not being anchored?
It could be. I will say grinding of teeth, there's a whole lot that could be in that. It's not just anxiety or fear or anything. It could very well be that you can't breathe. That simple,
Mm,
physiological, that's what's going on. So there's
mm.
that. Okay. But for the tapping and other things, we were talking about coping earlier. Someone mentioned coping and eating ice cream to soothe themselves. Tapping is the same thing because, and this is just getting a little bit more, this is great. I love this conversation, but I'm just saying, like, this is getting more into like dissociation. So we tap sometimes to remind ourselves that we're still present. Oh, wait, I'm still in my body. You'll pinch yourself. Sometimes people will play with their hair to soothe. If you see me like, actually, I'm pretty relaxed. When I start playing with my hair, it's because I'm in a good state. So it just I'm in a relaxed state. But tapping is a huge thing. I've known people to pinch their elbows. I've known it's just, it depends, you know. But tapping and ticks are a little bit different. But ticks can be tapping, but not all tapping is ticks. If that makes sense. Did that help answer your question? Okay. Does anyone have any thoughts or questions or anything? We're going to be wrapping up here soon, but I want to make sure to create space for everyone. And if you just talk, if you have something, there's your permission.
Okay, can you talk more about the things that we feel are easy for us, pointing to who we really are? Can you expand on that?
Hmm. Hmm. Um, yes. It comes from a place of that you don't have to think about it. And it's different than, it's a little hard to explain because sometimes I get stuck in communication, not because, or I don't have language, not because itself is hard to explain. But it's like, how about this? Does anyone want to speak to that before I do? Go for it, Charlie. I'm all about it.
I give an example. We owned a private gardening business for 20 years. And my wife would be able to just go into a nursery without any drawn plans, for somebody's yard. We did big homes. And she would just walk through there and like look and touch and pick out all these things that would fit that yard, you know. And when I first started to work with her, I was very much like left brain operated, figure it out, blah, blah, blah. And I learned that that was her and not me,
Hmm.
and she just flowed. And there was things that in our business where I just flowed. So it's like when you get in this flow and you really don't have to think, it just flows out of who you are.
It's good.
And we had to learn each other's flow, which took a while. Otherwise, like you said, when you're not your real self and you try to control things or something and it doesn't feel right, or I would disassociate or something. So when
Mhm.
you're in the flow, and I would just add this: when you're anchored in your real self, um, you're comfortable with what is not you.
Mm.
That makes sense, you know. So,
Mhm.
you know.
It's good.
So I think this could be wrong. The women can correct me, but I think sometimes that's harder for guys because guys are always so like competitive, with themselves, or so it's like if like I rode motorcycles. There was a lot of guys that rode motorcycles to be like a bad boy on the weekends kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And for me, it was just relaxation, but there was pressure to be something that I wasn't in a group of guys. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So it makes me, at least for me, knowing my identity has made me more comfortable with who I really am and not having to be somebody else.
So good. Does that help? Madeline? Did that help?
I was
Are you
like,
trying to unpause?
no, I was like, should I
Or
speak? I don't know if I should
yes,
speak.
yes, yes.
Yes, I think I was joking with Joel, like being like, okay, cool. So just tell me how to know myself. Okay. So really, it's just like, I guess what I'm getting from you and from, I cannot remember his name. I'm so sorry,
Charlie.
Charlie, is that, I mean, just starting to be aware of what feels easy, you know,
Yes.
like
Because
just
here's
be
the
aware.
thing.
Yeah.
I think, and I don't know who here's believers, not believers, whatever language you want to use. I don't know. I try not to get stuck on that language, but there is a culture that says easy is not good. They call it easy as sin, all of these things, right? But I do know for sure that the Bible's pretty clear that Jesus says, my yoke is easy and my burden is light.
Mhm.
That I do know. And so when something feels burdensome to me, I need to ask, why am I doing that? Am I
Mhm.
doing it because of other expectations? Am I doing it because of this or this? Now, it doesn't mean that life isn't going to be hard. Okay. That's different than easy and burden and all of that, right? But when I feel weighted down, I'm carrying something that I don't need to be carrying. And I'm operating from a place that I wasn't asked to be operating from.
Mhm.
So there's a story I like to tell about Adirondack chairs. And I've told this story so many times that I've gotten to this place. I don't even remember the woman's name anymore, and I don't remember how it started. But there was a woman who was so busy in her life, had job, had volunteered, had kids, just day to day, just doing all these things. But all she wanted to do were to make these chairs, these Adirondack chairs. But she didn't understand how in the world she's going to have time to do all of that and to do this thing that she had this desire to do because I have all this other stuff, right? I could tell you all the reasons why I can't do the thing I want to do. So, but one day she just decided that she's going to start making these chairs. And she would spend 4 to 5 hours a day making these chairs. And as she did that, lo and behold, time is a construct, but everything else became available in life with ease because she's operating out of who she is, who she's created to use her hands to create. She starts making these chairs and doesn't have all the stress in her life. And there's the flow, like Charlie was talking about, just being. She didn't change her schedule of any other things. All the other things were still getting done. Money was even coming in for her in a way that she wasn't expecting. But she was doing the thing that she loved. And it brought her joy and all the striving, the peace, all of this stuff. It was just different, you know? So do the thing that you love. Do the thing that you love. And honestly,
I have a question. I'm sorry.
uh-huh.
So, I mean, I don't even know how to find that. I have been seeking for that all my life.
Me
Like,
too.
I
Hmm.
really don't, I don't know what I love, and I don't find like I'm really good at a lot of things, but I'm doing a lot of things that I really don't want to do that have been stuck on me for a long time because I have a lot of responsibility in my life.
Mhm. Mhm.
Are
So,
you needing permission to let things go? Because I give it to you.
no, I don't. I really don't need the permission. My hardest thing is finding out who I am, I think. Like what really brings me to that place of creativity. And that's what I've been searching for so many years, and I still don't feel like I know.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So, what if you had all the resources available to you in the world? What would you do?
Yeah, I mean, again, I've questioned this so long and I don't know.
Well, you didn't even think long enough just now.
Well, okay, I understand what you're saying. But I mean, I have thought about this long and hard and
That if
really
you had all the
prayed
resources
about it.
available to you in the world,
Mm,
you've thought about that question?
I have.
You
I
and I,
have.
like you, I could
Hmm.
definitely think about it more.
I mean, I have visions and dreams.
Great.
I
What
do.
are those?
A retreat center. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
forgot.
So what's stopping you?
it's not that it's not stopping me. It's just everything to get to that point where I feel like that's where my day-to-day life is.
So what I hear you just saying
Mhm.
is that you want it all figured out before you start.
No, I don't want it all figured out, but I'd like to be able to be like, and I feel like the door's opening. It's just, I'm just trying to kind of wait till I've got the ability to be able to step into it because I don't even know how to do that either. Like, it's big thing, it's going to take a lot. So that's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, girl, look, you've got everything that you need is right inside of you.
I agree. I agree.
Everything that you need is already there. And just little bits of forward.
Yeah.
Don't think of it like all or nothing.
Yeah. I think that's
Little
where I
bits of
get
forward
lost in it.
movement.
Yeah. I think that's where I get lost in it because I get frustrated with the fact of all my responsibilities. And it's not like making an Adirondack chair. It's something that is very detailed and there's a lot to it. So it's
Oh, I know.
you know,
I put on 2 a
yeah.
year. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Like I had gotten to this place 3 years ago that if it didn't fall underneath these specific categories, I didn't do it.
Mhm.
Maybe that's a start for you.
Mhm.
Like these are the things I want to give my time to.
Mhm.
And if it doesn't fall underneath these categories, I'm not going to do it.
Mhm.
And I think that's a good starting place
Mhm.
because it'll change along the way.
Yeah.
You'll start to realize, actually, I really enjoy this over here and it doesn't fall underneath that category. So I need to figure out how to adjust. You know,
Yeah. Mhm.
you got it. I can't wait till you reach out and be like, I'm doing it.
Yeah,
And you're
prayers are
letting me know
always,
all about it.
always thankful. I mean, God has done miraculous things in my life and he's opening up doors so I can see
Yeah.
on so many levels. It's just sometimes when I'm in the heat of that moment of trying to do all the things that I feel like are leading me to that, which are not really what I want to do. It's that
Hmm.
struggle of fighting between. And again, I am the fight and flight girl. Like I've always lived just nonstop, go, 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 go. And I do meditate and I feel really great when I meditate, but then when I come back out again, I'm back in go, 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 go. So
Yeah.
I don't know how to separate the two. And I'm working on that. I'm doing counseling and seeking, other ways in that as well. So,
Well, I tell you what, your awareness as it grows in that
mhm,
and the intentionality to pause in that will
mhm.
help.
Yeah,
So, and you're doing it. You're doing it right now.
yeah.
You really are. Be
Thank you.
encouraged.
Okay. Thank
I know
you.
I sound a little sassy. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm sassy too, so it's all good. I sometimes I need sass back. Thanks, Brooke. I appreciate it.
Yes, of course. Of course. Stephanie, you're paused. You're muted. Okay. It says you're unmuted. I just can't hear you. Yeah. No mic. Uh, c- sorry. Yes, text it. Can you text it into the chat? Okay. Okay. I'll wait for you to text it in there. Can you get it in there? I can see your face, so I mean, are you able to text it? Yes, no? Oh, why do I hear you? I heard you. Um, where's your mic? Get close to your computer. It may not be in your AirPod. We can kind of hear you. I don't know. Hmm. Yeah, I don't hear you anymore. I'm sorry. Email me. I know you have my email, right? So it just, if you get it, Stephanie, I'll make time for you. So if you type it or able to do that. Okay, yeah, you could try that. Oh, well, just answer. You just put the question there. Just put the question where you just typed it. Oh, you want to tell a story? You want to share something? Okay. Sorry. Yeah, leave and come back in. That's fine. Does anyone else have any other questions or anything? She's going to come back in a minute, but I will be wrapping up here. I'm going to put one thing I like to do, if you haven't noticed yet, is come alongside people in their process. And I'm not always sassy like I was with just Jill, but I think I can just detect sass sometimes. So I just, I'm just fun. Right, Tabitha?
I love your authentic self. I think it's beautiful. So thank you for being you.
I'm comfortable in being me. Sometimes not everybody else is comfortable with me being me, but I'm putting if you want to have a discovery call with me, because I love working with people, I just dropped it in the chat. And, I'm not trying to have a sales pitch. I love doing these things to just come alongside people in the process. However, I do work with people one-on-one. I do 12-week sessions that I like to do. I love a start and stop because I think it goes well for people when they have a plan of a start and stopping. I also want to help people get to a place where they understand their wholeness enough that they don't ever have to see me again. And not because I don't love you, but because I'm not trying to create people to be dependent upon me, but I'm helping people come alongside by coming alongside them so that they know they can connect to the Trinity. They know that they have the answers inside of them, and then they can go do that for their own tribe. Stephanie, you want to try?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yay!
Yeah,
Yes.
God is good. Oh, I just wanted to say how wonderful that interaction between you all was a few minutes ago about not knowing where I'm going and, too much to get there. One of the things, and I don't know how many of you are familiar with Jason Clark, but one of the things that catapulted me into stepping into my vision and my identity and all of that was the story he tells about in scripture after Jesus resurrected, he meets disciples on the road to Emmaus and they're chit-chatting about the events of the day. Jesus is kind of veiled to them. I mean, they see a person, but they don't recognize who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then he's invited to their place for a meal. And they're sitting down, having fellowship around the table, and all of a sudden they recognize Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And the phrase that they say, did not our hearts burn within us
Mm-hmm.
when we were talking to you on the road? And that's one good signal. That was the one signal that catapulted me forward because my entire life I've had those burning heart experiences
So good.
and couldn't identify them. I thought maybe I was having a panic attack or something. I mean, they weren't that severe, but then I recognized that's Holy Spirit. That's my body telling me that this is something good, and you need to walk in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, I mean, we're talking a year now, that story has not left my mind because
Mm-hmm.
I feel a visceral feeling when I know things that I'm on the right path. It's that deep, burning, positive feeling. It's not negative in the least. That
It's
this
good.
is what I'm supposed to be doing. So be not afraid.
That's
Just
good.
one step at a time, one little thing at a time is progress.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's a whole nother pointing to your body telling you something.
Hmm.
Your body's literally on fire inside, right? I know
Hmm.
that burning.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. It's
Thank you
great.
for putting up
Yeah,
with
thank
me
you,
and my
Stephanie. No,
technology.
it's great. I appreciate it. Um, we're a little over time, and I see this question twice now. Sorry, we just haven't quite gotten to it about strategies for anchoring when you're in the midst of conflict, other than asking for a pause. There's a whole lot there. And but what I will say is that the conversation with the person that you're wanting to anchor yourself in the midst of conflict, you have to have that conversation with that person outside of the conflict in order to establish those types of boundaries and what it is that's going to happen in order for you to stay anchored. Does that make sense what I just said? Okay. Because it's not like in the moment, whoever is relational, I'll just say like my spouse, if in the moment I'm like, I'm trying to anchor myself and do all this stuff, you have to, outside of the conflict, you have to have the discussion. Hey, when we get in conflict, this is what I need from myself. So I will do X, Y, and Z, and having that conversation. So when it does happen, it's not just about the pause, it's saying, hey, I can no longer have this conversation with you right now because we're not being respectful to each other. That is anchoring yourself. Does that make sense? But if you say that for the first time ever and you haven't really had a conversation about it, it might not go as well. Not that you can't do it, because you can, but it's one of those things where it's great to have it when the things aren't heightened and both people aren't triggered and all the stuff. Does that help at all? That's my first and foremost thing, is to be able to have a conversation about that so you can practice being anchored. And honestly, when those conversations have been had and then it does arise, you already know you have the permission and the freedom and the safety to do the things that you need to do to be anchored. Because when we're triggered, or when we're heightened, or whatever word you want to use that makes sense to you, if you don't feel like you have the permission to do that already, it's going to be hard to anchor yourself in that moment. And sometimes the best thing you can do is just say, I can't do this right now. I have to go. And if that's what you got, that's what you got. But what I would encourage is to have the conversations outside of that in a different environment, to be able to connect and to stay on the same page. And one of the biggest things is like that I've noticed, how do you stay anchored when you don't agree with the person? That's a hard one, but we all are working on it, aren't we? Day to day. Yeah, I get it. That's okay. You don't have to engage. That's not their problem. That's not your problem. That's theirs. It's okay. Because you know who you are and you're like, I'm not doing that. It's okay. Great. You keep doing that. Okay. How's everyone doing? Okay. I put my my link. Elizabeth, I see you laughing at me. I put it in there if you guys want to reach out. Like I said, I do 12 weeks. They're start and stop. If you're interested in anything like that, working with me at all, please reach out. I thank you for being here. Really, thank you for taking time to show up for yourself. You guys, it's such an honor to come alongside of you. I love being able to serve you and connect with you, because you deserve steadiness, you deserve connection, and you deserve to live anchored. You do. You're not broken. You're not starting with nothing. You're just returning back to who you've always been. And I love you all. And I bless your weekend. I bless your night. I bless your time. Thank you. Have a good night.
Like,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.